Wanted, Bad Boyfriend by T.A. Moore. Narrated by Michael Mola. Chapter 1.
You know, my nephew's gay. Maybe if you hire him to do some work in the garden, they could run into each other.
The Granshire Hotel brooded elegantly over some of Ceremony Island's most stunning vistas. At the back, the cliffs dropped down to the deep white sand crescent of the bay, where brightly colored boats rocked at anchor a few miles out. At the front, the moorland rolled down, all heather and wildflowers, until it reached the straight, stone-built walls that fenced off the farmland. A small herd of deer sometimes roamed across the land. The Tatler had named it one of the top 10 destination wedding locations in the UK. Wedding parties arrived from around the world. It wasn't cheap, and it wasn't easy to reach. Even UK couples had a long drive over rutted coastal roads and had to take a ferry over the stretch of Irish Sea. But couples in search of the perfect wedding seemed to think it was worth it. It wasn't just the aged stone hall, or posing on the elegant stairway with its black oak railings carved to look like twisted briars. They wanted the trip down to the fairy caves on the beach, the congratulatory pint of Guinness in the traditional country pub with the brasses behind the bar, and the something old picked out of the trinket shop in the hollowed-out fisherman's cottage on the beach, or any number of the other Instagrammable moments the island could provide. Couples who came to ceremony wanted a well-chronicled fairy tale, or a rom-com, and as the Granshire's wedding planner, it was Nate Moffatt's job to make sure they got it, even on days when the last thing he wanted to think about was anybody's happily ever after. "Shoes?" he asked as he leaned in through the doors to the Granshire's bar. The bar was an expanse of sea-bleached wood and polished metal surfaces that usually looked like it was ready for a magazine spread. It was covered in the detritus of the previous evening's wedding party, with crumpled confetti swept into multicolored drifts in the corners and glasses sticky with the dregs of fruity cocktails on every flat surface. A skeleton staff of the bar crew were already making inroads on the cleanup, yawning as they dragged bags of rubbish behind them. They paused long enough to shrug their no ideas Nate's way. He made a mental note to up the usual thanks for a good job gratuity he'd send down. Technically, he didn't need to. Some couples wanted to hire a marquee or get married in the old distillery, which meant hiring on extra staff, but the newly minted Sanders had just gone with the hotel package, so the staff were included. Still, in Nate's experience, it was always better to have a reputation as a good person to work for that one event when you had to ask them to dress up like the Mad Hatter and serve Long Island iced teas into the AM. Nate left the staff to get on with clearing the glasses and picked his way through the tables.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?